Here we go. It's another special edition of the 50/50 podcast. The 50/50 podcast presented by College Promoters USA. Our proud partners, College Promoters USA. They are America's premier college prep program and high school student athlete marketing service since 1997. Located based out of right here in San Antonio, Texas. Make sure you look them up. Again, they are America's premier college prep program and high school student athlete marketing service, doing great things across the state and starting to branch out across the country. Again, you can find them. On social media, on Twitter at SATX Recruiting. You can also find them on Instagram at College Promoters USA, as well as on their website at collegepromotersusa.com. My next guest, he is a seasoned veteran here. He's going to become the second guest that we've had on for the second time here on the podcast. He is the head women's soccer coach of the UTSA Roadrunners, Coach Derek Pittman. Coach, how are you?
I am doing well, sir. I appreciate you having me on, Hector. Nice to know that I'm in a select few of repeat customers. So
you are very exclusive. It's an exclusive fraternity, I guess we could say. So no, we're blessed to have you on, grateful to have you on. And excuse me, part of the reason why we wanted to have you on, Coach, is a number of reasons. You guys are in the middle of having, truth be told, I know you won't, you're humble, so I'll brag for you a little bit, but having a pretty historic season on multiple fronts. You're still right in the middle of that grind. That is the conference season here in Conference USA. But we wanted to have you on to highlight some of those things and talk about kind of the outlook the rest of the way, and kind of get a feel of what you're thinking, your thoughts on the team for thus far, and your thoughts going forward. So tell us a little bit about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is year 4, correct? Season 4?
That's correct. Yeah, this is season 4. It seems like, I don't know if it seems like it's been longer or shorter because of COVID, but this is my 4th season being in charge here at UTSA.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to make sure, only because of I get mixed up a little bit. I have to double check and count correctly, just because of that unusual season that was the spring of 2021. So that's why I double checked. But so tell us, year 4, and we'll hit a little bit about the spring in a minute, but how's it going?
It's going really well. To be honest, it's what we had hoped it would be, coming out of the spring and some of the challenges we faced as a team, as a program. Obviously, everybody across the country were dealing with various issues in the college soccer world, and just college sports, and obviously across the entire world, dealing with the pandemic and the challenges that came with it. And, college athletics was no different. But I was really proud of our players, how we went about things this summer. They really utilized the opportunity to kind of hit the reset button, really recharge, recover, and then ultimately, kind of rejuvenate themselves going into this season with their summer workouts. And it was great. We added a lot of new faces. To be honest, adding 12 new faces with 18 returners is always a little bit nervous as a coaching staff, because you just never know how everything's going to intertwine and how everyone's going to get along. But I think our coaching staff did an excellent job. And we even had a little bit of a shakeup there as well, with Carl Goody leaving our coaching staff in late July to move over to Samford University, which was a great opportunity for him to go work for Todd Yelton and that staff there, who he's close friends with. But every challenge is hopefully going to be met with the right response. And I think we did an excellent job in how we responded, and being able to pick up Brock Duckworth coming on staff. Late notice, he had a lot of success at Florida Gulf Coast, his most recent stop, but he's a Dallas native. And so he wanted to get back to Texas. And I think a lot of him. He's a tremendous coach, a tremendous human being. He's a great recruiter, and we're excited to have him on staff. And it was a little nervy. A lot of people may not know this. I actually got COVID at the end of July. So I called Brock as he was driving into town and said, "Hey, oh, by the way, you have to run the first 4 days of preseason." So he's like, "I haven't even met the team yet." It was, but it was great.
Trial by fire, right?
Yeah. We threw him into the fire for sure right off the bat. But
hey, it could have been worse. It could have been a lot more than 4 days, right?
It could have been worse. I was thankful for that. My symptoms were very minor for just 2 or 3 days, and was quickly over it. And by that 3rd or 4th day of quarantine out of my 10, I was just begging our trainer to let me come back. But I was thankful my health was fine. But Brock did a great job. Cam Carter, who's been with me now for 4 years, did a fantastic job stepping in. We had a volunteer assistant, Olava Cardina, step in and do a great job for us. And our everybody involved was great. And so, and I say all that because I think our preseason was exactly what it needed to be. It was the right dose of intensity, as well as the tactical and technical pieces that we needed to work on, as well as the physical attributes. And we got off to a really good start. Played 3 preseason games right out of the gate with results against Incarnate Word, as well as St. Mary's, and then having a nice little tie against Texas State was good. It was just a good mixture of different things. We were able to tinker with a lot of things with our formation to personnel, and then use the non-conference portion, because we are 12 games in to our regular season with 5 games left. And, those first 6 games in the non-conference were really good for us. We stayed aggressive. We played aggressive in a number of different shapes. We probably played 5 or 6 different formations, some different game plans, some different tactics, depending on our opponents, and was able to move personnel around. We were playing 20 to 22 players in some of our games. And that depth has proven to be really beneficial for us. Even the other night against Marshall, I think we played 18, 19 players. So that was because we started doing that early in the season, giving some players the valuable experience that they needed to be able to step in. And we talk with our players all the time. You got to be ready for your opportunity. And, you practice or you perform how you practice. And so we push them hard in training, and they've really responded well. They've really bought into how we're playing and the things that we're doing. And, although we had a little bit of a hiccup, stretch of a game or two as we started conference play, we really rebounded, kind of gotten back to who we are, our identity, our energy, our enthusiasm, the things that make us who we are. And, I think that's shown in the last 2 results, with a huge win against North Texas, and then also a equally huge win against Marshall on the road.
Yeah, and and that was some of what we're going to allude to a little bit more in a minute, in terms of just some of the dominoes that have fallen that you previously hadn't experienced over the last few years, in terms of just historic feats, as well as I know you had a what was it? Was it 5? It was an all-time program winning streak. You get up to 5, was it? I think it was.
Yeah, we had 5 games. Yeah, 5-game winning streak. Started the season off 5-1. Loss against a very good Oklahoma State team, but I thought we played exceptionally well at their place to open up the season. So that I thought that was. I apologize. I thought that was really good. Our performance, and then ultimately, to rattle off 5 very good wins against, University of Tulsa, Cal Baptist, Grand Canyon. They were all really positive performances by our players, and ultimately Corpus Christi. And then before we got lined up against a very good Texas Tech team. And I thought we went toe-to-toe with Texas Tech.
Right.
We had a few chances, but obviously they're a very good team. Tom Stone has done a phenomenal job. I fully expect them to be near or at the top of the Big 12 when things all shake out. But it was a great little run of games for sure. and gave us a lot of confidence as we kind of started preparing for conference play.
Great. So, you hit on that a little bit more, and we've mentioned it. So talk a little bit, for our listeners, share with our listeners, some of obviously this has been building over the last number of years in terms of the progression, the implementation of the culture. Now this has kind of been that season where, I guess, you've kind of some of the hard work you all had put in year one and year two kind of has started to come to fruition, right? Kind of bearing the fruits of your labor, if you will. How, when we start talking about the season you're having this year, how do you feel that's connected in any way, or maybe the lessons learned that you took from this very, very unusual, unorthodox past season that you had? There was no fall soccer season for you all in the fall of 2020, and instead you played in the spring of 2021, had probably the shortest off season you've ever had, right?
Right.
And then here you are now experiencing this success. How in what way do you feel that's maybe connected it or attributed to that spring 2021 season?
I definitely think they're connected. I think our players, and again, like many teams, but I just think our players, they were just dealing with so much, and so many people were. And so I don't want to just say it was our kids, our roster. We had some various challenges throughout the fall. I think a lot of players across the country and within our roster really kind of asked themselves, do I really love this sport? Do I really want to keep doing it? Because we trained so hard during the fall in hopes of being able to play some games. And then when it was finally just canceled and moved to the spring, it was deflating and it was frustrating. Yeah. And so a lot of players kind of looked at that as like, okay, am I doing this because my parents wanted me to do this? Am I doing this because I absolutely love this and can't imagine myself doing anything else? And so we had a lot of players kind of asking some of those deep questions, and us as coaches even digging into those conversations with our players to, from social injustice to political views to different things that they were facing, within the pandemic, switching to online classes, all these various things were being thrown, these challenges, these hurdles that were being thrown at our players. And again, like I said, by no means am I trying to pity my team. Many, many teams across the country in all sorts of sports were facing the same thing. But these were questions they were toying with, and some of them really having to dig into, do I really love this sport as much as I say I do? And right. Am I willing to keep training, to keep improving, although I don't know when I'm going to get to play next? And so I think through that process, I think the 18 players that came back, and even some of the players that went through and stepped away, whether due to graduation or just moving on to other opportunities, really had just a hard look at themselves. And we had to take hard looks at ourselves as coaches and what is most important. And I've said this before on the previous podcast that I was with you, Hector, is that it's not about the wins and losses for me. Don't get me wrong, I'm as competitive as the next person and I want to win, and we line our team up every week to win. But it's about, who our players are as people and how are we helping them be the best version of themselves on and off the field. And so we had a lot of those just deep conversations throughout the spring, and although the results weren't necessarily coming for us in the spring, I think there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes where our players were digging deeper and really recommitting themselves to the sport and to this team and to this program, this university, and came back even more invigorated and determined to reach our goals and make this season, hopefully, as you said before, hopefully it will become a historic season for us as we continue on and into our next game.
Yeah. And, so we've hit a little bit briefly, it's been mentioned already when we talk about the season that is, and kind of many, many firsts under your tenure from, a big victory just recently at, versus North Texas, and then just this past weekend at Marshall, right? And Conference USA is a very, very, geographically large conference. But then also, you had having the longest winning streak in program history, or best start in program history, I guess you could call it. And then just recently also having one of your players, Ellis Patterson, kind of becoming the all-time UTSA assist leader. Talk a little bit about some of those sprinkles that you're seeing this year in terms of just, so when we say historic, this is part of what we're talking about, but kind of take us behind the scenes on some of those things that that you can share with us.
Yeah. Well, first of all, again, it's no secret. When we moved from the Southland Conference into Conference USA back in 2013, at that time, it was a big leap, I think, for all sports here at UTSA. Now, granted, I've only been here since 2018, but just knowing now the history of where UTSA as an athletic department has come from, it was a challenge back in 2013 for all of our sports. And, here we are, 7-8 years later, and you're seeing a lot of our sports continue to progress and be much more competitive in Conference USA. Obviously, our football team, Coach Traylor and his staff, his players are doing a phenomenal job, being 6-0 at this point in time, and doing a great job. You see our golf programs, our tennis programs, our track programs, men's and women's basketball programs continue to rise up the ranks, or rise up the standings, if you will, in Conference USA, and really, we talk about it a little bit internally. We're going for a shock the world tour here in UTSA athletics, and just really what we're trying to do is take this program, take this athletic department places it's never been. And so within our team, within our program, we've never made the conference tournament since moving to Conference USA, and we come close a few times. And, that has been our number one goal for a long time for this team, for this program, our staff, is first and foremost position ourselves game in, game out to obviously perform at our very best, with the ultimate goal of making the conference tournament. And after making the conference tournament, obviously anything can happen, on a one game, quarterfinal match here or there, anything can happen. And so that's been kind of the internal motivation goal, if you will. But in order to do that, we've really talked to our team is we can't keep doing the same things. We have to be uncommon. We have to be willing to take steps further and to do things that otherwise we haven't done in the past, in the sense of raising up our commitment level, raising up our intensity level, raising up our preparation. We talk a ton with our players about their daily choices, their daily behavior. Ultimately, your behavior becomes your identity. And, in that sense of every time you step out, you have this belief, you have this confidence, you have this trust that you've prepared as best as possible for that training session, that film session, and ultimately that game when the whistle blows. And so I think our players are really taking that to heart this year, that we can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results. And, definition of insanity, right? So we have to do things different, and we have to take those extra steps and, those, again, take the opportunity to step into that because it's available for us. And, I think our players have really embraced that this season and done a great job buying into, like I said, not just our core values, who we are from a team grit and integrity standpoint, but ultimately what we want to try to accomplish each and every time we step on that field, whether it's for training or games. And they've done a really good job for sure over the last couple of weeks, kind of, I guess, just grabbing a hold of that. We lost it a little bit, like I said, for a week or two, where we were maybe we weren't as concentrated or focused on those little details, and we've gotten back to that for sure, and it's shown in our play.
Yeah, you guys, a fun group to watch, and I know you guys came out of the gates scoring like crazy. So definitely, definitely fun, and also obviously, there's definitely a local touch, in terms of some of the players that you have locally, including an incoming freshman, just a different group, and then also just kind of Texas products. What can you share? We have obviously, we have other coaches out there across the state listening. We have other even possible interested maybe recruits there. What can you share in terms of what you're doing with local products, with state products, and then also with kind of being able to capitalize with that brand new beautiful facility you all just opened up a few months ago. What can you share with us about that?
No, absolutely. From a recruiting standpoint, and I think I touched on this on our last time on as well, is we want to recruit the top talent here in San Antonio. We want to do everything we possibly can to keep the best players here in San Antonio and in the 210, and to be able to, because we do feel like we are the #1 soccer program in San Antonio from a collegiate standpoint. We feel that we, not only as an athletic department, our goal is to be, San Antonio's nationally recognized, athletic department and university. And so, we want to be able to accomplish those things. And I genuinely believe that the best way to do that is keeping local talent here. And we want the best talent to stay here in town, where local fans can identify with those players. Local families can come out and support them, all the above. We want to have as many of the top talent here from San Antonio here. We also want to recruit heavily in South Texas, Austin, Houston. We want to, we're venturing into Dallas a little bit more, but we want to recruit Texas as heavily as we possibly can. And you mentioned it earlier, Ellis Patterson, product of Austin, area, has been a phenomenal player, just a tireless leader and work, from a work ethic standpoint. The kid just absolutely is relentless in everything that she does. And, and she's unselfish, which is why she's our assist leader, in all-time career. And right. I'm begging her to shoot the ball more. And she's like, "Coach, but somebody's open." I was like, "Okay, just pass. I trust you, kiddo." So, but she's just a pleasure to be around. I can go on down the list. Isa Hernandez, another Austin product that has been very, very good for us. Kendall Cloza here in San Antonio, up and coming, other players, that we have on our roster, Brittany Campa, Helene Ferris, on down the list. And we want to continue attracting those top level players as much as we possibly can. And we want the local talent to be excited that UTSA is coming calling, and that they can come here at UTSA within our program and reach their goals in unbelievable facilities. Like you mentioned, the Roadrunner Athletic Center of Excellence opened up on August 9th. And it is immaculate. If I could give an opportunity to take every local, club team here on a tour, I would gladly do that. Just because, we have fantastic facilities. I mean, it rivals Power 5, Power 5 facilities, as far as weight room, coaches' offices, sports medicine, equipment room, you name it. It has every bell and whistle, and it is absolutely fantastic. From the academic center we have in the building, and again, it was a $45 million project, and they did it exactly right. It is a fantastic, Dr. Campos and the administration and leadership from President Amy have done a fantastic job. And next is the plan to build our locker room facility out here. It's a $8 to $10 million project out here at our facility, and for local people that haven't seen us play, again, I know we'll get to that, but ultimately we want to get our local fans, local soccer fans, youth players, parents, coaches, etc., out to as many games as possible, because we are an entertaining team to watch. We don't sit back and defend and pack numbers behind the ball. We are an aggressive, physical, fast-paced team that is going to try to score goals and play very aggressive in how we press and how we attack and ultimately how we score goals. And, I think it's a very entertaining product to come and watch if you haven't come out and seen us.
Yeah. And I can attest to that. I kind of hit on that even before you mentioned it. Excuse me. And you all are a very exciting squad to watch for sure. And that's kind of putting it out there. That's kind of part of the challenge, I guess. If you haven't, especially if you're a high school student athlete, but doesn't matter, middle school, elementary, parents, or maybe you have no direct link to the school, or even if you're alumni, you need to be out going to, and we'll get to it a little bit more, but out to Park West and watching this squad play, watching this team play, because they are a very entertaining group. And from everything that I've seen and the momentum you're gathering, you're definitely on the right track, Coach. And I know you know that, and you all are building something special, something that is going to be sustained. And there is kind of something special going on there, just in general, there at UTSA right now. You talk about it with Coach Traylor and the football team, and he's just an entertaining guy to listen to. I listened to him on some of the radio shows. I was like, man, I could listen to that guy forever.
He is fantastic. We share some text messages back and forth. He is hilarious. He's just crazy, just good old country boy, but absolutely just works his tail off, loves his guys, and they love him. And it's a lot of fun to watch.
And a bit of a pretty big soccer fan, from what I've been gathering there, what I've been seeing. So that's how you've if he wasn't already, you've definitely converted him. So bravo to you all.
No, for sure. And the beauty about coming out to Park West is it's free. You don't even have to pay. I mean, there's no admittance, no admission fee. So, I mean, we can hold 2,000 fans. So, it's free. It doesn't cost a thing. And, just grab the family and the kids, let them run around, safe place to be, and watch a soccer game.
Right. And for our listeners, Coach, especially for our local listeners, just give us a quick rundown of where both your new, that Roadrunner Athletic Center of Excellence facility, as well as Park West, where exactly are they located for those that may know where UTSA is in general, right? UTSA proper, the campus. But where's the facility? Where are the facilities located?
Yeah, no. So the new race building, the Roadrunner Athletic Center of Excellence, it's on main campus. It's right next to the Student Rec Center, right across the street from the Convocation, the basketball arena, and there's intramural turf fields, everything right there. So it's on the main campus right there off of 1604 and the main campus site. As far as Park West is concerned, Park West, we're just a mile off of main campus. The best way to describe it, we are at the intersection of Kyle Seal and Houseman Road, just on the inside of 1604. So if you take the Houseman Road exit or the Kyle Seal exit, we are right there inside the 1604 loop at the intersection of Kyle Seal and Houseman Road. It's an easy spot to find.
Yeah, it's a great complex, great facility. I know I've been there probably, I don't know, maybe close to about 10 times. I know, including one time back in the spring, I believe it was the spring of 2019, before I left here, you all hosted in conjunction with United Soccer Coaches, part of their open training sessions, open training week. Unfortunately, you had to deal with me a little bit there, kind of tormenting you during that session. But no, it was a great session, and just being able to see your staff and being able to see the girls just kind of up close. And I mean, they were getting after it, for a training session in, what was that? I think mid-April, late April. They were getting after it. So for sure, it's a great place to watch a game. Great facility for sure.
And I would even say this, Hector, you bring up a great point is. But our doors are always open. Like it's the invitation. If I haven't been able to give it to people personally. I'm happy to do it now. Is that, our training sessions are always open. And so now we do train usually at 7:30 in the morning. But for some high school coaches that might have the opportunity, or even club coaches might have the opportunity to get up early and come out and watch us train, we're always happy to welcome coaches out. Our players will come and introduce themselves to you. You can sit in the bleachers. If you let me know you're coming, I'll print you off a training plan. I'll give you I'm not trying to keep any secrets around here. My hope is that we're playing quality soccer and people want to come and watch us play and watch our ladies compete, because they do a phenomenal job of that. And on top of that, we're trying to grow the game. And, I, by no means do I feel like I'm, the smartest coach around. I have tons, even in the conversation. That's why I didn't mind the conversation when you and I had that back in 19, is that, you were asking questions and things out of that, discussion, or things that, who knows, we may implement, or I think we're always, that is one of our core values, is our effort to constantly be growing. I love the phrase, you win or you learn. And I think I mentioned that to you off camera earlier today, is that, yes, you lose games, but at the end of the day, it's what you do with that, and how do you learn, and how do we grow from that? How do we develop? And, I want my players to have a mentality of constant curiosity, to be able to always be finding ways to keep improving and getting better, whether it be individually or collectively as a group. And again, in soccer, as well as their life and what they're doing in the classroom and what they're doing with their families, their friends, etc. None of us, the moment you think you have all the answers, the moment that you're wrong, and so there's always opportunities to keep learning and improving. And so we welcome the opportunity to have coaches out and be a part of what we're doing, and, poke holes in what we do, or ask questions. And who knows, you might take something away, or, you might go back and go, I don't like that, but I like this, and I mean, that's a part of the game. The beautiful part of soccer is that you can play it so many different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And, for our listeners, for our coaches out there, when Coach Pittman says that, in terms of being open, wanting that feedback, answering questions, I can tell you firsthand that I've lived it, and he shared it with me. So that's one of the best things, I think, that I know I shared this with you earlier, Coach, is that how truly open, transparent, and wanting to grow the game, wanting to showcase, your school, your program, your student athletes, your girls, but also trying to reach out and make that, that extend that hand, that community outreach with our, not only our club coaches, but especially with our high school coaches. Both, it's real easy to kind of get sucked into giving all the attention to the public side, but the reality of it is, I can speak, being a current soccer coach at a private school, they can often be forgotten about, so, but you're doing things. I love the way you're doing things. A big fan of your work and what you're doing, so, and that's why I stress that to coaches, is that what you are saying here is like, it's truth. It's rooted in truth. It's not coach speak. It's not, the lip service, the community stuff. It's genuine. And I know, God help you, you had to deal with me when I had a whole bunch of coaches wishing I'd shut up and stop asking questions. But I kept asking them, and you were there. You were very open to that. So I personally appreciate that. So thank you.
Yeah.
So Coach, as we progress, kind of moving on here, we progress. We're talking about where you're at right now at this very moment in the season. You're currently, I guess technically we can say, tied for third, right, in the West Division Conference USA.
Yeah, tied for fourth. Yeah. I wish we were third. Yeah. No, yeah. Rice is first in the West Division. Southern Miss is second. North Texas is 1 point ahead of us in third, and then us and UAB are tied for fourth.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All good. No complaints.
Yeah. No. My apologies on that. So you're 7-4-1 overall on the season, 2-2 currently in conference play, and you have a very big kind of a turn the corner, and can affect the trajectory of the rest of conference play game coming up this Thursday versus Louisiana Tech. Talk to us a little bit about that and what you're trying to push for this particular game.
Yeah, we one, it's from everything. I know it's supposed to rain over the next couple of days, but Thursday night's going to be beautiful. Fall temperatures are finally changing. I think it's going to be a great night under the lights at Park West. Again, 7:00 against Louisiana Tech, and Louisiana Tech's a very good team. They've got a number of different weapons. They have a good balanced attack. They defend well. They've got a couple top players in the back, as well as some players that through the midfield and ultimately up front that can give you some fits. And so we fully expect it to be a battle, like every Conference USA game is. And so we need all the help we can get, and we're really pushing heavily, here during homecoming week, to get as many people out to UTSA as possible on Thursday night to be able to pack Park West. Our hope is that we can set a new attendance record. We're hoping for 1,500 to 2,000 people if possible. So club teams to high school teams, to anybody that's, like I said, carve out some time on Thursday night to come out to Park West would be fantastic, because, again, I think it'll be very entertaining. We hope to have a few of the drum line from the band from Sosa, out there beating on the drums, trying to heckle the opposing team. We're talking about trying to bring in some temporary bleachers behind the goals to create more of an atmosphere. But it'd be okay with me. We wrapped people all the way around the fence. So that's our goal, and our hope is that we can really pack the place and really create a fun, just intense environment for our players, and to be able to get everybody behind us and push us over the edge to a positive performance. And we feel like we're playing really well right now, and we want to be able to showcase that in front of our home fans.
So that's this Thursday, October 14th at 7 p.m. at Park West Stadium. Is that correct, Coach?
That is correct. Yes.
Awesome. So I'm going to put you on the spot here really quick. Do you know, off the top of your head, what the current attendance record there is for your game, your match, program-wise there at Park West? Do you have any idea?
I do. They have had some different opinions, because they don't, because it's free and because they don't really take tickets. There's been some different numbers. From what I have heard, one of the big numbers is somewhere around the number of 2,500. And they believe that was back when they opened up the complex here for the first ever night game that they had at Park West. What was that, back in 2013, 2014, I think, when it was. And so I do know, since I've been here in the last 4 years, we did have one game that was just under 1,000 people. It was like 850 to 900 people at our game back in 2019, in the fall of 19. And so we're hoping that we can definitely beat that, push over the 1,000 mark. I'd love to see us push the 1,500 to 2,000 if possible. I know it's going to be our run as one game. So a lot of student athletes from across UTSA athletics sports are going to be coming out, from baseball team to football team to basketball team. So you're going to see a lot of the coaches out there. You're going to see a lot of the fellow student athletes out there on Thursday night cheering us on. So we hope that the community will get behind us as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So for all our listeners out there, make sure, let's try to see if we can top that, 1,500 to 2,000 mark. That'd be awesome. That'd be just one more feather in the cap of a historic season. So, so you talked about, so that's great, because that was going to be the next thing I was going to hit on. So we've talked about, excuse me, kind of different angles in terms of supporters, but I was actually going to ask about the student body. So it sounds like the Run as One campaign there, that's kind of part of what you're already working on, which is good. You need to get more people out there cheering you on. But I guess can you talk a little bit? I know you were previously telling me about one particular high school program that was out there supporting you earlier this year. Can you talk about maybe not just them, but also kind of initiatives and challenges, maybe just trying to get more club and especially high school soccer programs out there to watch this very, very good team that's very fun to watch, to get out there and watch them, get out and
No,
support you guys.
yeah, absolutely. It was great. In fact, against North Texas a couple weeks ago, Brandeis High School popped out. It was great to see their whole team sitting in the front row right behind our team bench, cheering us on, and which is great because we have Alyssa Blankenship, who went to Brandeis High School. There's always talented players. I was very good friends with Travis Smith, at KU now, before he took off. So, again, we appreciate their support, and we'd love to have as many of the local high school, teams out as well. I mean, again, you got tons of local talent, from Helene Ferris playing at Smithson Valley to Kendall Closa playing at Lee High School, same with Brittany Campa at Lee High School, and so on. So, there's a number of our local athletes that, are coming from these high school environments, and we'd love to have their teams come out and support us. And again, even just to be able to take in a really high level soccer game. Again, you don't have to drive far. We're 20, 30 minutes max from any number of high schools here in town. We're pretty easy to get to. And, we'd love to have as many teams as possible come out and support us. And I think it's a great way. I think you even mentioned that your season's about to kick off with some practice in the coming weeks. And I look at it that as a what better opportunity and better way to get your team excited about their upcoming season than to come and watch a Division I college program compete. I think currently right now our RPI is right inside the top 100 in the country. And so you're talking about having the opportunity to arguably watch one of the top 100 teams in the country when it comes to Division I college athletics on the women's soccer side. So we'd love to have the high schools come out, and we'd also love to, challenge the local club teams. I believe this Thursday night, we've got a couple club teams coming out to, be ball kids to, I think they're shutting down their practice sessions for Thursday night and trying to invite the entire club to come out. And, again, working with our marketing department, working with our media staff, we want to be able to bring them out. And, even if we announce them on the field at halftime or let the kids run around and play for a little while we're going for our halftime talks, and then be able to stick around after the game and get autographs from, any number of these talented athletes that, young boys and girls can look up to, because, again, when you look at it, that only less than 5% of all high school athletes go on to play at any number of college levels, whether that's D1, D2, D3, so on. We do have some of the best on our team, and we're very thankful to have that. And they're great examples for, the youth here in San Antonio. And we hope that people will come out and cheer us on and enjoy that.
Yeah, where that program has come in the 4 years since you've been here. Excuse me. And yeah, I think, and this, having been a former college coach myself, I follow the sport closely at all levels, obviously, and in terms of my work as well with College Promoters USA. But yeah, you can tell when you can see that a program has kind of captured the culture, has kind of set in, and they've really kind of gained momentum, they're trending in the right direction. It's a pretty awesome thing to watch, whether you're associated with that program or not, but especially when you're a coach, that's something you can really appreciate. So how far you've come with them, Coach, and I know you're not done. I know you're not satisfied, but how far you've come with them has been great. So as we start wrapping up here, Coach, I know, so we talk about the Louisiana Tech game on Thursday. So the Pack Park West Run as One initiative for this particular match, but talk to us about kind of the rest of the season and what can we expect from UTSA soccer the rest of the way?
Yeah, remaining schedule. Like I said, for sure this Thursday, October 14th with La Tech. And then after that, on Sunday, October 17th, we play at Rice, again, another pivotal game in our West Division. Will be a great matchup. I really respect what Brian Lee and his staff has done there, and obviously the run they had last year deep
Right.
into the NCAA tournament. They're equally as good this year. They're always going to be. It's a great challenge to be able to match wits with Coach Lee and his team. So that'll be a fun match. And then we're back home on October 22nd. It's a Friday night. We'll be hosting UAB. Again, another West Division Conference game. And then we have senior night on October 24th against local team Trinity University here in town, which will be another great night, but a great opportunity for us to honor Ellis Patterson, Alyssa Blankenship, our two seniors on our team this season, and be able to celebrate their career. And again, like you said, it's not over. And so then we finish up on October 28th. We play at Southern Miss. That will wrap up our regular season. And our goal at that point in time, hopefully we're fighting for a high seed in the West Division. Hopefully we're playing well, continue to play well at that point in time. And we're preparing for the conference tournament. The conference tournament starts on November 1st at Boca Raton in Florida, out at Florida Atlantic. They're the host this year. So all 10 teams will be headed out there for the tournament. And so we take basically how it works is there's 14 teams in Conference USA and 2 divisions of 7. And so you have to finish in the top 5 of your division to be able to make the conference tournament. And so hopefully we're placing ourselves in the top 5, in the West Division, and we have a chance to go out and compete in Boca Raton, Florida for a conference tournament title. And so it's a lot still to go, but I'm very proud of our players. Had a great training session last night. We had today off, opportunity for them to recover, and then we're back to work tomorrow morning and Wednesday morning as we get ready to come out and perform well against La Tech.
Nice. And I know you hit a little bit on that community outreach piece with our clubs, with our high schools. So if we have, whether it's club directors, individual club coaches, and on the high school side, high school coaches, if they want to reach out, get more information as far as being able to attend a match or being able, ball boys, ball girls, or be involved on some level on your game nights. Or game days, I should say. Where can they get more information? Who can they contact, Coach?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They can reach out to myself or any of our coaches on our website. So if you go to goutsa.com, which is our athletic department website, you can go to the soccer page. You can find our coaching staff's emails. You can email myself. Ideally, I would strongly recommend you email our assistant coaches. They're probably more apt to get those things done. But they can definitely, if it comes to me, I'm happy to reply. I'm happy to point you in the right direction, to kind of give you any information that we can possibly provide you. Again, same thing. You follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram at UTSA WSOC, which is our handle for all of our UTSA women's soccer activities. And that's what we use. Twitter, a ton of information, but also the Instagram's kind of an inside look into our program, daily things, training pictures, to stories, to accomplishments by the players, kind of give you the kind of just the behind the scenes look at what our team, what our coaching staff. I know some of the videos that are most liked on our stories are usually our birthday baths. So whenever a kid has a birthday at the end of practice, they have to run through a tunnel and they get just doused with cold water. So just some of those traditions that we do on a daily and weekly basis to be able to celebrate just what wonderful people we're fortunate enough to coach. And I know you touched on it earlier, but we do everything we can to obviously recruit the most highly talented individuals we can, but more so than the talent, We want to make sure that we're recruiting high character, hardworking players that compete and absolutely love the sport. And when we find players that are that have that mindset, they have that championship mindset, they have that mentality to train nonstop to keep getting better, along with their talent. Those players have a lot of success at our level and just have a lot of success in life. And so those are the type of kids that we want to recruit. Those are the type of kids that we want to have playing for us over the course of their career. We've been fortunate enough to have a roster full of those young ladies right now.
He is Derek Pittman, head women's soccer coach at UTSA. Again, big match, very big match. This Thursday is Pack Park West as they're trying to set a new attendance record there at Park West Stadium. You can attend the match. Starts at 7 p.m. this Thursday versus conference foe Louisiana Tech. Coach, this has been tremendous. Really appreciate your time. I mean it when I say just what I absolutely love is just how accessible you are, how transparent you are, and really willing to. I don't think a lot of people really know. Not only are you building something special here, and it's a great squad to watch play, but that you're out there, you're available, you're challenging folks and telling them it's like, hey, we're here to help you. We have these open training sessions. We want you. We're not trying to hide anything. So that's a very special thing. And, it's kind of really part of the reason why I was glad to have you on here, and why I wanted to highlight certain things, because it's not very common. It's far less common, I think, than people think. So for all of that, I commend you, and also just grateful for your time and grateful how you've always been not only with myself, but us with the 50/50 podcast as well.
No, Hector, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on short notice, promoting this game this week. We hope everybody comes out and really enjoys the game on Thursday night. And again, stick around, talk to our players, talk to our coaching staff after the game, ask questions, whatever we can do to help to be able to connect with the community and continue growing the game is very important to us. So we appreciate that. We appreciate your support of what we're doing here, and being able to grow the game as a whole here in San Antonio.
Absolutely. And before I forget, one thing I wanted to share, Coach, is completely unrelated, but I know you're a part of the nerd community, just like myself, and we're big avid readers. One book I wanted to throw your way that I just started reading not too long ago. It's The Intelligent Soccer Coach by Carl Wild.
Okay.
So player-centered sessions to develop confident, creative players. So,
Nice.
So anyway, just wanted to mention that out there, because I know we're usually sharing different info on books. So wanted to throw that out there as well. So
Appreciate that.
Get out there, support the UTSA Roadrunners. They're in the thick of it, in the battle of conference play this Thursday, 7 p.m. versus Louisiana Tech. Pack the Park West as they're trying to set a new attendance record. For all our listeners, again, thank you. It's good to be back. We're still getting settled in now with a big move across the state. Hang in there. Thank you for being patient. I know we get a lot of messages as to, hey, when's the next podcast? When's the next podcast? Who are you going to interview next? But we're getting up and running. We're grateful as well to our sponsors, College Promoters USA. Make sure you look them up. Again, College Promoters USA. All right. You can find them on social media, on Twitter at SATX Recruiting, as well as on Instagram at College Promoters USA, as well as on their website at collegepromotersusa.com. For our listeners, thank you again to Coach Pittman. We wish you and your girls luck, not only this Thursday, but the rest of the way. We thank you again for your time. And for our listeners, keep downloading and keep listening.